get started. So come and have a seat on your mat. You can be facing the front of your mat and just sit down on your heels if that's comfortable for you. I've got 2 blocks beside me, and that can be nice if you want to press your hands down on something to try to get a really nice tall spine. You can also stack your blocks and come have a seat down on your blocks if that's more spacious or more comfortable for you. But let's just come into the breath and get the practice started. So you can place your hands on top of one another in your lap, or you can place them face down or up, whatever feels best for you. And just start to feel yourself sink into the practice. Start to notice your breath. Notice how you're feeling. See if you can let go of anything that starts to come up. And just allow it to float by, whether it's a thought, some tension in the body. Just let it go. And you can even take some time here to set a little intention for yourself, just to be present throughout the class. And if things start feeling overwhelming or uncomfortable, to just come back to the breath. Okay, gently flicker the eyes open and just look at the ground in front of you. If you're sitting on your blocks, you can just remove them. I'm just going to face the side so that you can see. I like to have my blocks underneath my hands for this. So we're just tucking the toes under and sitting back on the heels for a foot and Achilles stretch. So this is going to be different for everyone. This could feel excruciating for you. It could also feel like nothing. Whatever it is, just try to breathe into it. And try to keep the shoulders over the hips. So notice if you start to come forward a little bit. That's totally fine if you need to in order to be comfortable. You can even put your hands forward, but the intention is to eventually have your shoulders stacked right over top of your heels. Stay here for 2 more breaths. And then come forward, untuck the toes, bring your hands beside you. You can use the blocks if you like, and just lift the knees up off the ground now. Shine the chest open, bring the shoulder blades together and down, and just breathe into the fronts of the shins now, the lower shins, the ankles. And just see what comes up. If this is excruciatingly painful, back off. This might look a lot less deep, or it could look a lot deeper than mine. Just do what feels good in your body. Good. Come forward, tuck the toes. This time you can either keep your hands down on your blocks or bring your hands to your lap. Inhale. And then exhale to curl the spine, look inwards. Inhale, arch the spine, look up. And exhale, curl. 3 more rounds like that, doing our cat-cows with a sneaky little foot stretch. Try to stay with it. One more round. Good. And then grab your blocks and now come up onto your toes. So we're in a little toe stand type position. Try to get the shoulders over the heels again, and then try to squeeze the knees together. This is going to help build strength. Try to squeeze the ankles together and try to point the toes down in front of you. You might feel your shins, your calves really working. So focus somewhere in front of yourself. Zip up through the core. Ground down through all 10 toes and look forward. Good. Wiggling, wobbling, squeezing the knees together. Release the hands down. Maybe bring the knees nice and wide. Keep the heels together. Walk the hands forward. Release the spine forward. Letting some of the tension out of the legs. Good. Come back. Let's try that again. So push the knees down in front of you. Get really nice and tall through the spine. Find something to look at. Start to feel your whole legs warm up. Squeeze your hamstrings. Squeeze your legs together. Whew. Release. Come forward. Whew. Stretch one leg out. Come forward and backwards. And stretch the other leg out. Forward and backwards. Good. Now plant both of your hands flat on the ground. Lift your hips up. Stretch your legs back and just come into a nice downward facing dog. Point the hips up towards the sky and bend your right knee. Sink deeply into the left leg. Try to press evenly into 10 fingers and deeply into your left foot. One more breath here into the back of the left leg. And switch. Bend the left knee, straighten the right leg. Lengthen out through the spine. Good. Straighten both legs. Okay. Look forward towards your hands. Really make sure they're nice and strong. Zip up through the core. And just know throughout these little leg warm-ups, you can always come down onto your forearms if your wrists are sore. And you can also come down onto your knees. But let's lift the right leg up so that the toes are still pointing down and the hips are still squaring. So we're not opening the hips like this. We're just coming into a pose where, yes, we're sucking the right hip down and pushing the left hip up so that the hips can be coming towards square. And just stay here. Start to really fire up the backs of the legs. And then 10 times we're going to pulse the right heel up towards the sky. 10, squeeze the glutes. 9, 8, 7, 6, keep the knee pointing down. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Pulse it up. Keep it up. You might be starting to shake, especially if you've already done this a few times today. And then bend your right knee. Give me a hamstring curl. Squeeze the heel to the glute. And inhale to strengthen and lengthen. Exhale to curl. Inhale to lengthen. 8 more. For 7. Extend for 6, so it's a bit slower. For 5, check in with your alignment. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now keep it squeezed. Imagine you're squeezing a little squeezy ball behind your knee. Kick it back, kick the heel back towards the glute. Inhale, get long. And exhale, come through plank. Look forward, lower your right foot down and lower your left knee down towards the ground. Just keep your hands tented on the ground and shine your chest up towards the sky. You can use blocks if you like here. Exhale, lift the hips and not quite coming into half splits, but actually sitting all the way down and back on your left heel. Fold forward. Really stretch it out. Look forward, peel yourself up, scooch your right foot forward, tuck the back toes, inhale, reach up. Bend the back knee a lot to start so that you can really get your shoulders over your hips. The front knee is at a 90-degree angle, back knee bent, reach up and look up towards the sky. Get lower. Inhale to get long, and then straighten the back leg a little bit as you settle into this pose. Good. Inhale to reach up towards the sky. And exhale to swing the arms forward and back. Look forward. Inhale to reach up. Exhale to swing it back. Good. Inhale to reach it up. Exhale, swing it back. Keep the torso where it is, so angling forward, and then plant your hands just above your right knee. Press into your knee and start to lift the torso up a little bit. So creating some space between the hip and the thigh. And then looking forward, you can really feel those right quads turned on. You can come into a couple little pulses here. Good. And then tiptoe yourself forward. Start to angle yourself forward and come into some warrior 3 prep. So bending into the standing leg, pushing into the standing leg. And as we did in our downward dog, circle those left toes down to face the ground. Breathe into the spine, get long. Good. If this is too much, you can always put your hands on blocks in front of you. And come into 3 of those hamstring curls. Okay. For 3, nice and slow. For 2, and 1. Step back, reach your arms up. And exhale, plant your hands. Step back, downward facing dog. Shake out the head, stretch out the spine. Inhale, come forward, plank, look forward. And exhale, lower all the way down. Good, reach your arms and legs back, inhale. And exhale, plant the hands, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Good. Find your breath. Find your foundation in your hands and your feet. Bend the knees a lot. Point the tailbone up. And now bring your weight into your right foot. Lift the left leg. Again, we're not opening the hips. We're squaring the hips and pointing the left toes down towards the ground. And just stay here for several breaths. Really recommitting to your hands, recommitting to even distribution of the weight in your hands, zipping up the core. And now you might notice that the stabilizing leg, your right leg, is already turned on. Good. Deep inhale here. Exhale, pulse it up. Use your glutes for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, always the option to do this from your hands and knees for 3, 2, 1. Okay, bring it up. Glutes are on. Curl, hamstring curls. 10, extend. For 9, extend. Keep breathing. Inhale, exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Curl, keep it curled. Really squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Look forward. Bring your knee to your nose. Kiss your knee. And step your left foot forward. Lower the knee and just plant your hands on either side of your front leg. Stretch out the back heel, the back hip. Shine the chest forward. And let's just sit back all the way, stretching out the front leg. If this is too much, you can always have the right foot bent, toes tucked under. Bring yourself forward. Scoot your right leg back. Tuck your right toes. Inhale, or reach yourself all the way up and get nice and low in your front leg. And if you're noticing that the balance is off, just walk your left foot off to the side a little bit. Reach the arms up overhead And then bend your back knee as much as you need to get your shoulders over your hips. Starting to feel a little bit of warmth in the front quads. Sink into your breath and sink into your legs. And now straighten the back leg a bit more if you can. And 3 times. Inhale, reach the arms up. Woo. Exhale, chest forward, arms back. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward. Last one, inhale, reach it up. Exhale, forward. Keep your torso forward. Interlace your hands the awkward way. Press into your front leg, so just above the knee. And press strongly out of your back heel. Look on the ground in front of you. And just pulse your front knee a few times, just to make sure it's on. Good. Look forward. Hop your back foot forward. And start to come into a balancing pose here. So really pressing into that standing leg, pointing the right toes down. Shining the chest forward, and then coming into those 3 curls. For 2, and 1. Good. Straighten, and slowly lower the back leg. Reach the arms up, and plant the hands, step back, flow through a vinyasa. Lower yourself half or all the way, upward dog or cobra. And exhale, sit the hips back, child's pose. Look forward towards your hands, peel yourself up, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Inhale to reach the right leg up. Exhale to step it through. Pivot both feet to face the front. Walk your hands forward as though they're in a downward facing dog. Bend the knees a little bit so that you can point the tailbone up towards the sky. And just let the spine lengthen. Let the head go. Walk the hands underneath the shoulders. Point the toes off to the outer corners of the mat. And sink yourself down into a goddess squat. Good. Inhale, push your arms out towards the sides. Shine the chest up towards the sky. Notice a little stretch in the forearms, the biceps, by holding the arms out and doing that stop sign with your hands. Focus on the arms as you sink the hips lower. Push your knees off towards the wall behind you. And see if you can get the shoulders over the hips. Rock from side to side. Inhale, reach the arms up. Interlace the hands. Point the fingers up towards the sky. Try to soften the shoulders away from the ears. Get lower. And now bounce up and down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Plant your hands on your thighs and look over your right shoulder. Straighten your left arm. Inhale here and exhale. Once more, inhale. Exhale. Good. Come back to center. Press into your arms, straighten your spine. Exhale, twist. Look over your left shoulder. Press into your right hand. Straighten the right arm. And breathe into the spine. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Come back to center. Bring the hands together at chest, heart center. We have been down here for a while. You guys are doing great. Bounce with me for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay down. Lift your right heel. Smile. lower. Inhale, lift your left heel. Right leg, lower, and left, lower. Good. Let's lift both as much as possible. Shaking is good. And lower. Inhale, straighten your legs. Point your toes to face forward, maybe even in a little bit, and fold yourself forward. Hold on to opposite ankle. Maybe walk your legs a little farther away, let your head go. Nice passive forward fold. Try to bring the weight a little bit more into the toes. And then walk your hands, peel yourself forward into a halfway lift. Pivot the left toes off to the side. Sit yourself down, shine your chest up. Try not to hyperextend your right leg, and your left heel can be off the ground. Inhale here. Exhale, walk your hands over to the other side. Stretch it out. Sometimes my heel can touch the ground, sometimes it can't. Just focus on keeping the left leg active. Inhale and exhale. Pivot yourself forward, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank, and exhale, lower. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward and just have a seat. Good. Face whatever way works for you. We're going to do some wide-legged forward folds. So however you're going to have space to reach your legs off to the side is great. First, let's start in Baddha Konasana. So the feet are together, the knees are sitting off to the sides like a butterfly. Shoulders over the hips, and maybe start to peel yourself forward with a nice flat back, looking down at the ground in front of you, folding forward. Inhale to come up and stretch both legs off to the side, point the toes up, bring your legs as wide as works for you. Point the toes up, really dig the heels into the ground, and then bring your hands behind you. Bring the chest up, shoulders nice and open, and then start to walk yourself forward. Maybe coming down to your forearms, maybe a block, maybe two fists. Stay here for 2 more breaths, looking inward, really keeping the legs active as you stretch. And come up. Good. And you can either now bend your right leg so that your right foot is on the inner edge of your left thigh. Or if you want to try something different, you can bend your right leg so it's like this, so that your heel is towards your hip. And then, so this is a variation. And then you can option, reach underneath your right leg, reach up overhead with your right arm, grabbing onto your right heel with your left leg from underneath the leg, and maybe looking up underneath your right shoulder, trying to keep the chest nice and wide. You could not be touching your foot. You do not have to be touching your foot. You should be feeling a really nice side body stretch. One more breath here. And release. Sit your hips back. This might feel nice on the front of your right leg. And Change. Rock over to your right side. Bend your left leg. Option just to hold on to your outer left hip, or reach underneath your left leg with your right hand and reach your right arm up overhead, opening up the chest, bringing the right shoulder towards the right inner knee and looking up, keeping the chest as open as you can. Such a deep stretch. The side body, the back of the leg. Deep breathing here. Two more cycles of breath. And slowly circle yourself back up. Bring your hands back behind yourself. And swivel yourself, face the front of the mat. Roll yourself down onto your back. Press the feet into the ground. Lift the hips up. Try to circle your shoulders so that your shoulder blades are really flat on your back. You can interlace your hands. Make sure your feet are parallel and push your pelvis up towards the sky. Try to keep the ribs in. Keep the core engaged. Two more cycles of breath. Last inhale. And slowly release. Just let your knees fall over to the left side. You can bring them up any amount. Bring your arms into a cactus. Gaze over your right shoulder. Simple twist. And then simply just switch sides. Bring your knees over to the right. Gaze over to the left. Really release here. Soften the body. And prepare yourself for the next pose, which is savasana. One more deep belly breath, and then let it all out. Bring the knees back through center, bring the head to face up, and find yourself in shavasana. Make yourself as comfy as you can. Soften the shoulder blades onto the back. Let the hips and the legs sink into the floor. And really just enjoy this sense of surrender and notice how the body feels as you just let gravity hold it down to the floor. Take a scan of the body and just notice everything melting and relaxing. You can pause this video now if you'd like to stay here and integrate the practice into your body for a little while longer. I definitely encourage that. But if you're ready to move on with your day, bring your hands together at heart center and take a moment just to express some gratitude to yourself for showing up. Thank you for letting me guide you through this practice. Namaste.